Our solar system is an exciting and vibrant space, filled with planets, asteroids, comets, black holes, quasars, and other wonderful things. Scientists have studied the stars for centuries, discovering new objects and refining their thinking about old ones. Astronomers use a variety of telescopes to look at the universe. They need many different types of telescopes to look at space because each telescope shows them different things. Light comes in wavelengths from short to long. Visible light, the light humans see, is in the middle of the range. Short wavelengths include gamma rays and X-rays. Longer wavelengths include microwaves and radio waves. Most amateur astronomers use optical telescopes, either reflectors or refractors that use light in the visible wave range to show objects. However, most astronomical research is done on telescopes that look at other wavelengths of light, because each wavelength shows something different about the universe. It is a bit surprising, but it turns out that objects in space give off radio noise, which just means they emit waves in the radio range of the light spectrum. Radio telescopes look at very long wavelengths of light and convert these waves into pictures. Radio telescopes collect long wavelength light to investigate diverse things. Radio telescopes are usually large dish-type antennas. Scientists build them far away from populous areas to avoid interference from radio and TV. Radio telescopes look at very long wavelength light. You can see many diverse things with radio telescopes. For example, you can investigate how hydrogen gas is distributed in our galaxy and other galaxies, and you can time the rotation period of pulsars. X-ray and gamma-ray telescopes collect light in the shorter wavelengths. X-ray telescopes help astronomers study the sun, supernova, and other stars, while the gamma-ray telescopes study supernovas, pulsars, and black holes. X-ray and gamma-ray telescopes don't work well on Earth's surface because the short wavelengths get disrupted and weaken in the atmosphere. So scientists like to put these types of telescopes in space, where atmosphere is not a problem. X-ray and gamma-ray telescopes collect very short wavelength light to see the sun, stars, and supernovas. A type of telescope used in most astronomy research is a reflecting telescope. Reflector telescopes use one mirror, or a combination of mirrors, to reflect light and form an image to the viewer. The design of this telescope allows astronomers to see things way out in space that don't emit much light. Almost all of the major telescopes used in astronomy research are reflectors. The Hubble Space Telescope, HST, is a reflecting telescope and is currently the largest space telescope there is. It is 43.5 feet long and weighs 24,500 pounds. It was launched into space by the Space Shuttle in 1990. A few weeks later, it became a public relations disaster for NASA when it was discovered that due to an error in manufacturing, the mirror the telescope used had a rather large flaw in it. Eventually, the error was fixed when the telescope was serviced in space and given what amounts to a pair of glasses or contacts that correct the problem in 1993. Another type of telescope is a refractor. The refracting telescope uses concave lenses to refract light and make objects appear big and bright. This helps astronomers see the stars, planets, and moons. The problem with this type of telescope is that it needs a lot of light to detect objects. In order to collect a lot of light, the lens of the telescope would have to be very large, which would make it very heavy. The lens can only be supported around its edge, and gravity would force the lens to distort under its own weight as it was moved to look at different things in the sky. Refracting telescopes collect visible light to see things out in space, but not as far as reflecting telescopes. Astronomers use many telescopes to see different things in the universe. Radio telescopes detect long wavelength light and investigate diverse things. X-ray and gamma-ray telescopes detect very short wavelength of light and look at the sun, stars, and supernovas. Reflecting telescopes see visible light, and they see things way out in space. Refracting telescopes detect visible light. They see things out in space, but not as far as reflecting telescopes.